group. Let's build it up, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the stage all the way from Germany, the wonderful Mr. Vince Ebert. Come on, make some noise, make some noise, make some noise.
Thank you. So, yeah, it's true. My name is Vince Ebert and I'm a German comedian. And I know what you're thinking now. German comedians are like English cooks or sober Scotsmen. And above all, I'm a German certified physicist. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Because we physicists actually have a very good sense of humor. First time I entered the lab of my university, I saw a sign saying, "Don't look directly into the laser beam with your remaining eye." In Germany, I've been on stage for almost 20 years to explain scientific facts with the fundamental laws of humor. And in my opinion, this is absolutely necessary because our basic scientific knowledge in Germany is simply a catastrophe. 34% of all German high school students believe that Voltaire invented the battery or want to spend a year as an ampere in France. Okay, some of you might say 34%, that's hard to believe. That would be more than half. I have to say I'm a little bit nervous because it's my first time I perform in English, and the funny thing is 100 years ago the language of science wasn't English, it was German. Back in the days, every well-educated person in the world had to learn German. And if we hadn't screwed up 80 years ago, I could perform here at the Fringe Festival in my own language. And probably even in my own country, who knows? No, seriously, for us Germans, the English language is very hard to learn. You have complicated words like squirrel, neural, neurologist. We Germans, we have words like Blitzkrieg, Weltschmerz, Achtung. That's simple and clear. And we physicists like it simple and clear because the basic idea, the central principle of science is very simple too. Scientific thinking is basically the testing of assumptions. That's it. For example, if you say there's beer in the fridge and I go and check, I'm behaving like a scientist. If I say there's beer in the fridge and don't check, I'm a theologian. If I look into the fridge, find no beer and still say there is, then I'm an esoteric. But what do I do if the fridge is locked? Then I have to look for other ways of finding out. I can shake it, weigh it, x-ray it, burn it, and search the ashes for beer remains. That's all very time-consuming. That's why an esoteric can claim more nonsense in 5 minutes than a scientist can disprove in his lifetime. But even if I have tried everything to find out whether there is beer in this fucking locked-up fridge or not, I can never be 100% positive. A tiny bit of doubt remains. That's why in natural sciences there is no 100% certified knowledge. It's the same in real life. A farmer comes into a turkey stable every morning to feed them. The birds think, hey, our farmer is a really cool dude. But around Thanksgiving, they start realizing something is rotten in the stable of Denmark. What I wanted to say, the central principle of science is be skeptical of everything. And I know this is very hard because we all stick to our beliefs, don't we? Regardless of our education. In Germany, for example, a lot of well-educated people believe in homeopathy. Homeopathy is a very big thing in Germany. I'm not sure if you are familiar with the basic idea. It's this delusion thing. The more you dilute a special substance with a solvent like water, the more powerful the substance gets. And this delusion goes on and on until no single molecule of the original substance is left in the water. And then the remedy is supposed to be at its strongest. That's about as plausible as throwing your car keys in the Thames in Oxford and then trying to start your Range Rover with the Thames water in London. good at believing bullshit. I know what I'm talking about, because I grew up in a remote village in Bavaria. I'm sure you all know Bavaria, it's like Texas without guns. And the name of my hometown is called Amorbach. Beautiful name, isn't it? Amor, like the Roman god of love. That's why we have 4,000 citizens sharing 3 family names. City of love. And it's also a very Catholic area, very religious people there. And I can remember when I was a child, I was forced to go to the Holy Mass every Sunday. And of course I did. Only once in my childhood I dared to cut. And 3 days later the Pope died. That bothered me for years. But I managed to get rid of my superstition because I was curious. I always wanted to know what's behind the curtain. One day I peed on an electric fence to prove Ohm's law. Just kidding. In Amorbach we don't have any electricity. And in this time I also got a pretty good idea of how relativity theory works, which says time passes slower or faster depending on the space. Or as Einstein put it, the length of 1 minute depends delicately on which side of the toilet door you are. Now, I always wanted to see the world outside. When I was 17, me and a few pals went to Frankfurt for the first time. And for me it was a culture shock. We walked through a park and suddenly we noticed amounts of syringes lying on the lawn. And I thought to myself, whoa, those poor diabetics. And then we went into a strip club. And for me it was like a revelation. I sat in the first row, staring at the stage, and I thought to myself, do dancers on the southern hemisphere turn around the pole in the opposite direction? And that's why I decided to study physics. To make a long story short, since then I see it as a mission to tell people about the fascinating things going on in science. Because science is not about complicated equations or abstract theories. Science is about asking simple questions. Why is the sky blue? Why is the night black? Why shouldn't we eat yellow snow? A few years ago, Nobel Prize winner Eric Kandel told a very inspiring story. When as a child he would come home from school, his parents didn't ask him, "What did you learn today?" Instead they wanted to know, "Did you ask a good question today?" Which is a very good question itself. If a cat always falls on her feet and a jelly sandwich always falls on its face, what would happen if you tie a jelly sandwich onto the back of a kitty? It's all about asking questions. Once I asked the old priest of my childhood in Amorbach, "Father, what did God do before he created the world?" And he looked me straight in the eye and said, "He prepared hell for people who ask questions like this." I think this is the biggest difference between religion and science. Believers constantly provide ready-made answers. Scientists constantly provide questions. Why does everybody call our priest father? Except for his own children, they call him uncle. Good questions are subversive, creative, and uncomfortable, but the answers lead to completely new perspectives. Richard Feynman, another famous Nobel Prize winner, once said, "Science is a long story about learning not to fool ourselves." Only 400 years ago, every hurricane, every disease, everything that lied beyond the normal was thought to be witchcraft. Today, modern science gives us profound explanations of phenomena that were reason enough to burn women for hundreds of years. The biggest gift of science is teaching us how to free our minds. And by the way, this is also maybe the biggest issue here at the Fringe Festival, to free our minds. So be curious, stay skeptical, ask questions. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,